Okay, Alex, this is how you need to work on your Unit 6 project. And this page that I've got open right now is no longer available to you, but all of the same information I'm going to send to you in a file. But I'm going to go through it right here. First off, you have to have graphs. That's 40 points. And you have to do pressure versus time. And remember, you have to demonstrate here that you know independent and dependent variables. That's something that should have been covered first semester. I believe you came in after we covered that, but you should know. And I'll give you a hint. In this case, time is the independent variable, so that means it goes across the x-axis on all of your graphs. So when you set up your graphs and you have to do your data tables in your spreadsheet first, time must be the first column because you want it across the bottom. So graphs, you need to do at least 3, and you must do pressure and time. Okay, then you can choose which 2 of these you do, and I'll show you in a minute. If you choose to do a 4th one, you could actually earn some extra credit. Then you have some analysis to do. And there are some questions here to guide your analysis. Now, this is where you're demonstrating that you understand everything we've learned about weather. And if you don't have a good understanding, this is where you're going to lose points. Prediction. Again, you're going to look at your data that you have gathered, and then you're going to make a prediction. Weather safety. You are going to, we did a little bit on weather safety. So your city is Miami. So what safety issues about weather do people have in that area? And then given that, you have to develop a very detailed safety plan for a family living in this area. Climate. Don't tell me the climate is 70s and sunny. That's not climate, that's weather. So you have to here, you're going to demonstrate that you know the difference between climate and weather. And the second question, how does the weather data you collected relate to the area's climate? So you have to write 1 to 3 sentences to discuss that. And then there's 30 points that's your overall presentation. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to attach this file to your message that I attached this video to, or to the email. And I use this this file when I grade your paper, and I'll come down and I'll say, okay, so it says here graphs, 40 points possible. Did you do 3 graphs? Okay. Are they titled, labeled, and are the keys, is everything correct? I'm going to look to see that you hit all of these points here, and if you did, then you would earn 40 points. If you got most of these, then you might be in the 32 range. But if you're over here where you have less than 2 graphs, you may be at 0. So this is a 200-point project. You have to make sure you do everything that's listed here, and then there's also on each one listed how you can get some extra points. And this is 2 pages, so don't stop at the end of 1 page. Okay, so this file that I use to grade will be attached to this email. All right, now, second, what I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a link to someone else's project so you can kind of see how someone else put this together. Now, this person actually earned some extra credit. And the thing is, they have a very different city than you do, so you can't copy anything that they said because it won't make any sense to your project. So you chose Miami. So they chose Tokyo. So they gave me a little bit of background about Tokyo. That was an extra thing that they earned some extra for on their project. Then they talked about how many days they gathered data. Well, you didn't gather data for 49 days because we had to redo yours. So how many days did you collect data? And then what time did you collect your data? Then here's her first graph. Temperature versus time. Time is on the bottom and it's days. And temperature is this nice line graph. And this one should be a line graph. Then she did wind. And again, she's got days on the bottom. That time is your independent variable. And she has wind speed across the Y. Okay. She graphed humidity every day. Now, I don't think that you took your humidity correctly, because I do not believe that in Miami it was 40% humidity every day for 14 days with no change. So I'm going to ask that you do not graph humidity, because I don't feel that it's valid. Okay, then she did graph the amount of precipitation over days. So you can say this day it rained, this day it rained, this day it rained. And yours will look similar probably to that. Then she did pressure over time, and again, very nicely done. And here she did a great job. She graphed wind speed, temperature, and pressure all on one graph, which was really nice, because then you could see what happened when the temperature was way up here. That was also a day you had high wind. Okay, pressure, she's not, because it was so close to 32 all the time, or 30 all the time, you're not seeing a big change, but it is interesting to look at the dips that go together. Then she talked about that. That was part of her analysis questions. Again, this is a great graph because she could put two things together. Then she talks about weather safety. All of this is on your rubric. You have to have it. She talks about the location. She talks about what is the weather safety issues. She put in some graphics that make sense. And here she starts talking about what they have to do. Here's her specific plan for this area. Don't use elevators. Drive to evacuate. These are things that are important for people in Tokyo. Okay? And finally, she talks about the difference between weather and climate and her prediction. So all of this is, I'm going to share a link with you too, so that you have one that was an A project to look at, so you know what I'm looking for. And you have to, this is your test, so to speak, showing what you know and how you can use what you've learned to analyze. So it's not a multiple choice test, okay? So if you have questions, let me know, but you're going to have very specific questions. You can't say I don't understand it. So let me know if you need a little help.